Hello friends, I am Sanyukta Saxena and welcome to this last session on the Zentangle Inspired Art series wherein we created beautiful works of Zentangle, random works using different set of tangles every time, using different arrangements, different styles, but mostly around a circle, mostly in a round format, right? So this is the last session and today also we'll be trying to create a beautiful piece. Right, so let's get started. So some bit of homework that I've already done here on this paper is drawn some concentric circles, right? About 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So I may not use them, but initially I would use about 2 or 3 of them, and then we shall see how do we want to proceed further. Yeah. So let's get started right away, and I'm going to first ink the first 2 or 3 circles, right? So I've started inking the first one, and now I'm going to move on to the second. Keep rotating your sheet of paper, don't move your hand much. Right, so we have inked the second, moving on to the third. Right, so I've done that exercise. Now I'm going to add a little weight on one side of each of the 3 orbs, but alternating sides, right? So the innermost one, I have added some weight on this side, that is on the right side, like this, right? The next one I'm going to add some weight this side, right? Just a little weight, not too much, but adding a little thickness to the line. Right, did that for the second one, and again third one I am going to take the right side, so alternating the side as I add this thickness. Right, that's about it. I think I'm going to stop here, and then we shall see how do we want to, whether or not we want to add something more. So I'm now going to switch my pen and use a tangle called Feather Fall, right? So I am just going to draw 2 stems and then add these small petal like shapes, right? Ink it in and then start adding auras, close auras, 4 or 5 of them, as many as you want. Big or small, like this, right? Again I'm going to add one more, grass like shape or some twig or a leaf, a long leaf, and then I'm just going to add auras, right? Again I'm going to do the same, added another one and start to add auras. Take your time, closely aura the petal shapes. From both the sides. You can ink very small little spaces. Again going to add one more. Take your time. Yeah. Again start to add auras. 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? You can add a hidden one here and just add part of the aura. Taking about 5. Again, you can convert this stem itself. Add one more here. Right? And then again start to add auras. Take your time. So I have added about 5, and then I am going to start from here. Yeah. So you can add 1 or 2 more. For example, add one here. You can also hide something here, just the way I did on the other side, or you can leave it as it is, entirely up to you. 3, 4, and 5. Right? So once we have done that, generally these ends are joined. You can also insert a small fescue if you want, or you can just keep it as it is. Because of the way you aura, the lines are already joined, so you don't have to really do much. Small little orbs here and there, add some weight, and then just add some orbs here and there. Right? So this is one side. I'm going to do exactly the same on the other also. Take your time and slowly do that exercise. So Zentangle is all about tangles which have repeating auras. They are very simple to draw. They are line based, circle, orbs, S shape, C shape, most common strokes that we use to create most of these Zentangle patterns, which anybody can easily pick up. Yeah. So I'll just do this exercise. So I have almost finished drawing these auras, and now I'm just going to join the ends and add few fescues, delicate ones. Yeah, that's about it. So if you want, you can add some orbs here and there. Right. So let's now move on to the next section. So what I'm going to do here is divide the rest of the section into some further sections, closely auraing them and taking a cue from the concentric circles that I have drawn, not equal in size, some big, some small, like this. Drawing the first layer, right? Take your time and slowly do that exercise for all the layers. So done with one. So I'm now going to take the second one. Like this. Not exactly drawing under one another, trying to be haphazard. Right? Take your time and slowly do that exercise for all the 3 layers. So this is a grid basically in which we shall tangle, different kind of a grid, right? And finally the third one. Take your time, carefully draw. Each of the sections. Try not to place them exactly under each other. Yeah, I think we have done that, right? Now let us start to tangle. So choose tangles of your choice, and you can choose different tangles for each of the sections. You can choose same tangle for one row, one circle, so whatever you think, right, whatever you feel like, please go ahead with that. So let's get started. Let us fill the innermost with some, I think I'll go with, so I'm first going to start with some Mooka. So I'm going to randomly pick up sections, right? So I've started with some Mooka in this section, Mooka sprouts. Again going to start from here, draw the same on the other side also. I think I will have to change my pen, right? So did Mooka, right? And then you can fill in the small little spaces left, or you can draw something else there like flux or dimple, whatever you feel like. Some bit of inking is always a good idea. Right? So just take your time and pick up some of these sections and draw. I've done that in one section. I'm again picking up one more section. I'm going to draw the same. I switched my pen to the same burgundy pen. My black was not behaving well. So you can use pen of your choice, that's perfectly fine. And then you can add orbs wherever you feel like. You can also add tipple, orbs, flux, whatever tangle you feel like to fill in the in between small spaces, right? So just do that exercise, select spaces where you want to do it, take your time, slowly fill up small little intersectices. Like this. Yeah, so I'm going to do that for a couple of these sections, right? Take your time and slowly do that. So I'm done with that exercise. Let us now move on to Shattuck, right? So you can pick up tangles of your choice. Please feel free to do that. So I'm just going to add some line based simple tangle called Shattuck, right? And you can choose tangles that you feel like. Please go ahead with that. Right? So the second section I'm going to fill up like that. So one of these lines, set of lines, I'm just going to ink the aura like this, right? So moving on to the next now. And then the next one. Right? So you can pick up random sections or you can plan how do you want to go ahead. I'm just picking up random sections. Right? So moving on to this one now. Take your time. Tangle Shattuck. Again, a tangle purely based on auras, lines, straight line or curved lines, whatever you feel like. You can also ink this part. Sorry. Yeah, so I'm going to go on like this for a couple of more sections. Yeah. So I have added Shattuck to some of the sections that I felt like randomly, right? Now rest of the sections go with any other tangle of your choice. You can choose crescent moon, you can choose printemps, tortuga, whatever, right? So many things that you can add. So I'm just going to add some printemps. My go-to tangle. So I just look for opportunities to insert some here and there. Right, small little sections, feel free to ink them and you are sorted, right? So going to do the same exercise I think for all the rest of the sections, or probably at least 4 or 5 of them. Drawing behind, right? Take your time. Enjoy the process. An excellent filler tangle. Yeah, I'm going to do that for a few more sections. Spirals, generally drawn anti-clockwise, but if you're not comfortable, please you can do that clockwise also. You can also add highlights if you want. Like these. Yeah. So I'm just left with a few more sections. Rolling my printemps, having fun. So feel free to choose tangles of your own choice. Poke roots, poke leaves, triple, whatever you feel like. There are a whole lot of tangles that you can choose from. Go with the tangle that you feel like drawing at this point of time. If you're drawing along with me, right? So it's all about mood, it's all about what you feel like. Don't plan, draw what comes easily to you. Right? So I am also doing that. And the last one here. Take your time. Do fill in the small little intersectices left here and there. They will add to your tangle. Yeah, so one more left here. So you can either go with the same, or probably I will just add the Mookas. Some mobs here and there. Right? That's about it. So we have drawn. Now let us move on to the next, that is shading. Right? So shading, wherever we have added the dark, the weight, I'm going to add shade on that side only. And just a touch on the other side, not much. Little more on the side where we have added weight to make it little more darker, and then just a touch on the other side. I'm not going to tangle inside, but if you wish you can. Right, these sections, go to each section and add graphite on all four sides. Carefully, slowly, gradually. Do that exercise for all the sections. Take your time, no hurry. As far as this is concerned, you can always add on one side and highlight the other. Entirely up to you. How do you want to shade? You can also shade each of the leaves or petals. That's also one option. Okay. So let's start to blend, and we will slowly add to all. Right, so this is the darker side. You can emphasize some more. And just a touch on the other side, nothing much. And then finally the same thing on the other side, the last aura. Adding some really dark graphite on that side. right? Then just blending a little, very light touch on the wrist. Yeah, so this gives a nice 3D kind of an effect to your orbs. Then comes this part. Again, as I mentioned, no standard shading rules here. You can shade the way you wish to. You can go into shading each petal, or you can shade half, high and low. Yeah, so these are different ways to shade. I feel like doing it like this at this point of time, so that's how. Right, and then you can start to blend these sections. Make sure you use just a tip. You don't want to make the entire thing gray. Just use the tips. Right, so first add graphite to each of the 4 sides. You can also add to 2 sides, entirely up to you, the top and the bottom. Right, let's shade slowly, gradually. Yeah, so I'm going to do that for all. Yeah, so I'm still blending the graphite. I put it on 4 sides of each of the sections. You can also shade it differently, just put it on 2 sides, just like borders. Right, so it's entirely up to you. How do you feel like shading? It's almost done. Right, so let's pick up our white chalk now. So white chalk, use it to highlight the other side of your feather fall. It gives a nice high and low effect. Yeah. And then you can always use it to highlight the center where you have not added graphite. That's why it's important that when you shade, you don't make the entire thing gray, else there is no point of putting chalk. So take your time and do that exercise throughout. Yeah. So if you want, you can redo these lines with your brush pen, make them darker a little, the 2 ends, but this is entirely optional. You can get that darkness with your pencil, or you can use a darker pencil. What we use generally in Zentangle is a normal HB pencil, but you do get shading pencils. If you are not satisfied, you can go for that, but generally they are not used. As far as Zentangle is concerned, we use the normal shading, normal HB pencils for shading, right? I'm just adding that extra darkness to the grid so that the inner feeling pops up a little more, right? You can do that, you can do away with that, entirely up to you. Right, so that's our work for today. You can also use different kinds of grid around this circle. For example, I'll just give you an example. You could have also used a grid like this, wherein we draw the same 3 circles, 1, 2 and 3, and then we create this kind of a grid, right? Up, down, right? This kind of a grid, and then we add an aura. Try doing it this way also, you will create a beautiful piece. And then again add these sections to the humps, to the dips, and then again add another aura, right? This creates a beautiful grid. So same thing you can create with this also. Again add a hump, few humps here and there like this, right? Like this, and then again add auras. And then each of these spaces that you create, you can add different tangles, just like we did for the sections that we created. Yeah, so this will also come out to be a beautiful piece, just an idea, right? So let's close our session and this series, and I've already posted a teaser for the upcoming new series, which is White Out, which is what happens when you tangle around a white space, right, which you keep absolutely empty, right? It would be exciting, so do catch me on the new series. Today is 6th, right, and I shall see you again. Till then, have a good time. Bye bye.